What's going on, people? It's Aaron Cantu coming in for Cantu's Corner, where we break down some of the hottest topics and upcoming fights in the world of boxing. Today we're going to break down the highly anticipated pay-per-view fight between Keith "One-Time" Thurman and legendary fighter Manny Pacquiao going down this Saturday. Stay tuned.
It's the champ! Cantu! Where'd you find this?
This Saturday from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, Keith "One-Time" Thurman will be putting up his undefeated record against the legendary Manny Pacquiao for the WBA Welterweight Championship of the world. Thurman comes into this fight 29-0 with 22 KOs, and he's coming off a majority decision victory over Josecito Lopez back in January. Manny Pacquiao is coming into this fight 61-7 with 39 knockouts, and he's coming off a unanimous decision over Adrian Broner in January. This fight has plenty of big implications for some future fights down the road. The winner of this fight can potentially match up against a Terrence Crawford, an Errol Spence, or a Sean Porter in the future. Both fighters are coming in and they want to win. Now let's talk about both fighters' strengths heading into this big matchup. For Manny Pacquiao, number one, Pacquiao relies on his experience. He's been at the championship level for many years now. He's not going to be a deer in the headlights for this moment. He's going to come in, he's going to embrace it. So his experience is one thing that he relies on, and it's a big strength heading into this fight. Number two for Pacquiao, in and out movement and combination punching. We've seen over the years the quickness, the quick twitch ability. He's very good at that. One of the best ever to do it as far as stepping in, landing his combinations, firing off, and scoring points. He's got great in and out movement. And number three, Pacquiao has great power. The old saying in boxing is power is the last to go, and with Manny Pacquiao being 40 years old, he definitely still retains a lot of his power, and especially in that straight left hand. That straight left hand is going to be key in this fight. So obviously the power, the experience, and the in and out movement are just a few of the strengths that Manny Pacquiao possesses. And now strengths for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has sensational lateral movement. He's one of those fighters that loves to circle the ring and box. The sport of boxing is hitting and not being hit, and Thurman is definitely one of the best in the world at doing so. Number two, Keith Thurman has great ring IQ and savvy. When I talk about ring IQ and savvy, I mean just kind of the ring generalship that everybody talks about. Being able to command space, being able to get in and out of range, dictate the pace. I think Keith Thurman does very well at that. And number three, in my opinion, I think Keith Thurman is pretty versatile as a fighter. He adjusts well to different styles. I think his versatility stands out as one of his biggest strengths. He's shown that he can fight off the back foot as well as fight on the front foot. He's shown that he can dance, move, box, jab, and he can also mix it up and get into fast combinations and landing punches. You don't see him in too many exchanges, but we did see against Sean Porter, he will stand his ground in spots and mix it up. So I think his versatility is definitely a strength. And now we'll take a look at the keys to the fight. For Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's got to change levels. He's got to give different looks and different angles to Keith Thurman to offset his movement. If Pacquiao moves his head, changes levels, gives different looks, and then lands combinations and flurries when Thurman is in a bind, in a tough spot, I think he'll have success. He's got to change levels though. You can't come into a straight line against Thurman because Thurman's just going to circle the ring. Change levels, don't come in a straight line, land your combinations and get out. Number two, Pacquiao's got to push Thurman back to the ropes. If he could push him back, stay on the front foot, land his combinations, he's got a good chance in this fight. Use your aggressiveness, get on the front foot and land your combinations. And number three, it's easier said than done, but just let your hands go, Pacquiao. You're gonna have a pro Pacquiao crowd, so anytime Pacquiao is gonna let his hands go, the crowd's gonna go wild. And in some cases, that can influence the judges. And now the keys for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's got to circle the ring and keep Pacquiao at the end of his jab, and use that jab to set up the right hand that you love throwing. Number two, be first. Don't be afraid to get on the front foot and be first. Dictate the pace. Take the initiative. You know, if Thurman comes on the front foot and mixes it up in spots, I think that'll serve him well in the judges' eyes. He can't be on the back foot the whole fight and expect to win or expect to get a unanimous decision, because some judges, that's just not their preference. You know, be first, be the one who initiates, you know, the exchanges, and don't be afraid to hold your ground in spots. And number 3, use your size. Now, Thurman is the physically larger man in this fight, so use your size to smother Pacquiao when he gets inside and tries to land combinations, and just basically manhandle him. And lastly, my personal prediction on the fight. Now, I've seen a lot of people's opinion on this fight, and I'm pretty surprised about what most people are saying. Most people are picking Pacquiao in this fight, and I can't really understand it. Pacquiao's the older fighter. His last 3 fights were against Jeff Horn, in which he lost, Lucas Matisse, a fighter who's basically he's been on his way out for the last couple years, and then Adrian Broner. None of those fighters are on Keith Thurman's level. Keith Thurman is a step above each and every one of those fighters. So basically, this is a step up fight for Manny Pacquiao over his last, you know, few opponents. So I don't understand why most people are picking Pacquiao. I think that what it comes down to is people are putting too much weight into Keith Thurman's last performance. They saw him get caught by Josecito Lopez, and they don't believe that Thurman is the same guy that he was before he took that long layoff. Now, in my personal opinion, I think that was kind of a wake-up call for Keith Thurman. I think he's gonna get back to himself. He's been waiting for this type of fight, this pay-per-view stage, and I don't believe that the fight against Josecito Lopez was a true indication of what we're gonna see on Saturday. So I think it's interesting that most people are picking Pacquiao, with Thurman, who started off as the moneyline favorite. He's now the underdog. Pacquiao is, I think, at minus 140, and Thurman's at plus 110. Thurman the underdog now, and I just don't understand it. He's the younger champion, he's undefeated, he's got the size advantage, and stylistically he's got all the tools to give Manny Pacquiao trouble, with the movement, the ability to adjust, his versatility, you know, fighting off the back foot. He can also mix it up and hold his ground. So I believe Keith Thurman wins this fight. I think he wins a decision. But I don't want to see him fight defensive late in the fight. I want to see him go after it. I don't want to see him get his rounds in the bag and then just cruise. We don't, as fight fans don't want to see you win your 7 rounds and then cruise the last 3-4 rounds. We want to see Keith Thurman go for it. So I think that Keith Thurman wins this. I think he wins this relatively easily, so long as he doesn't fight not to lose late in the fight. He's got to go for it. Don't fight defensive late in the fight. Don't fight just trying to win a decision, because that could come back and bite him. You know, with judges being swayed and whatnot with their preferences, he's got to stay engaged throughout the 12 rounds. And if he does that, I think Keith Thurman wins. I think he wins an easy unanimous decision. And dare I say, he might catch Pacquiao late. I'm just going to go with Keith Thurman by unanimous decision. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Cantu's Corner. Make sure to tune in next time and follow my YouTube channel at Airshow Sports. We talk about boxing, football, and basketball, and plenty of other sports. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Airshow15. Stay Cantuned.